Good evening and welcome to Soccerbox Live. I'm Mark Goldbridge. Welcome to another live show. I've got my guest on, which I'll introduce you into in a moment, but we're going to be discussing Manchester United and everything topical about Manchester United. First of all, I do want to discuss the derby, but it'd be rude of me not to introduce to my guest this week. It's Daniel. I'm going to put you on to Daniel now. How are you doing, Daniel?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for having me on the show today.
You're very welcome. I believe you've got your own YouTube channel as well.
Yes, All Things Man U TD. I've started it for a few months now.
Great. Okay. Well, we'll discuss that a bit later. First of all, I wanted to start with the. Sorry, I've got clear something there. Sorry about that. I've got YouTube up in another channel. I can hear myself echoing back 10 seconds later. Anyway, on with the derby. Bit of controversy. I'm going to start with Man City fans who arrogantly have been saying all week that they deserve to win the match. I would question that. I think the game was changed by Smalling, and we'll discuss Smalling in a moment. But for me, the referee was abysmal. I did write to the FA this week and spoke to them on the phone. I'll tell you all about that in a moment. But Daniel, what did you think about the derby last week and the results?
It's a disappointing result, obviously losing. But in the circumstances of being with 10 men for a large portion of the game, well over half the game, I thought we done pretty decent really to hold them down to just 1-0, especially at their place when it's quite difficult to win at the Etihad Stadium.
No, I'd agree. I think first 20 minutes, definitely Manchester United bossed that game, and the second half they were terrified. I think my two issues with the game were that I think it was a real missed opportunity for Manchester United. You know, you look at City. Last night they were awful. They got beaten by West Ham a couple of weeks ago. I think if they were playing anybody else this week other than QPR or Burnley, they'd get beat again. I think Chris Smalling let us down. I think Manchester United were well on top. We'll never know now. Not going to lose too much sleep over it, but Smalling let us down. Where do you stand on the Smalling thing, Daniel? We've had a few tweets about this, but I'd like to get your opinion first.
Yeah, well, it was pretty stupid from Smalling. He shouldn't really have gone in for that the challenge on James Milner when he was already on a yellow card. I thought it was really quite stupid. But although other decisions did go against us in this game, which was a bit disappointing. But he should have known better. He's one of our more experienced defenders. So overall, I'm pretty disappointed with how he done that. But it is actually only his first red card of his career. So so it is a shame really. But he probably just got caught up in the moment in the derby. You know, it's a real passionate game from both sides. So it was a bit disappointing, but these things do happen in these derbies, you know. It's happened a lot over the years. We've got a lot of players sent off, so these things happen and we move on.
Yeah, definitely. I think the second yellow card was ridiculous. It was reckless. He deserved to go. Totally changed the game. I think my rant from last week basically was the fact that we'll never know, and I think the referee ruined the game. Smalling deserved to go, but for me, I've said it this week. I've spoken to the FA. Joe Hart deserved to go. How he doesn't get sent off, I don't know. Spoke to the FA this week. Basically, they said we don't referee games that have already been refereed, so they won't be doing anything about it. Essentially saying that because Michael Oliver didn't put it in his report, they won't retrospectively referee the match. I basically said to them, well, so basically you're letting ignorance be hidden by incompetence, because why would Michael Oliver draw attention to the fact that he made a terrible error by not sending Joe Hart off? The FA should act after that. He's England captain. It's disgraceful. It sends the message out to every kid, fan and amateur footballer that they can do that to the referee. We're in the midst of a respect campaign. He should have gone. Not heard anything back from the FA, funnily enough, about that, but I think he should have gone. Back onto Smalling though, put it out there a bit earlier, Daniel, that whether it's the end of Smalling, whether he should be kicked out of the club or not, some really bad reaction this week, I think, from some people on Twitter kicking him out. I'll give my opinion in a minute, but what's your thought on Smalling?
No, I don't think that you should actually be kicked out of the club for this. You know, all players make some mistakes. I mean, we've had a lot of players sent off over the years. It's just a shame that he is a bit injury prone now and again. I still believe that he can be a decent player for us in the future. if not a first-team regular, still a squad player for us. He is one of our more experienced defenders now, because we are pretty inexperienced in defence. So I feel that we should still stick by him, and still probably bring some other defenders in, but a great all-round still squad player for me.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's the end of him or not, I think I'll leave that to Louis van Gaal. I think he's been there long enough, and I think injuries have undermined him, like you say. But at a club like Manchester United, especially in the midst of the last 18 months, they need to get results. Just reading out some of the comments from the viewers. At DBrad706 says, how many chances does he need? At Gigs Forever says, still time to prove himself, long season ahead. At Devil Dart 180, I've had enough of his mistake, he has to go. And at Dave the Gorilla says, simple fact, he isn't good enough. And at Dirty Bitch 22, keep him, I love his long sexy legs. Interesting there, but I think it's not the United way to boo their players, and that's what disappointed me a bit this week. We're not Arsenal. I saw last week that the Arsenal fans have already turned on Welbeck. He's gone from being the next Thierry Henry to the next Carl Henry, I think, for them lot. But it's not the United way. If he ends up going, fine, fair enough, then I'll make my mind up about him. But I think for the moment, let's leave it to the management and let's back our players. I've been criticised for having a pop at Fellaini. Quick question about Fellaini. What's your thought on Fellaini, Daniel?
Well, I'm pretty much with you on this one. I've seen your other videos where you disagree with a lot of the other fans, saying that he's just been not good enough, and I really do have to agree. I just don't think he's Manchester United standard.
Right.
I've been thinking that ever since we signed him. I just don't think he's good enough. And although he has played better in the previous two games, I just still don't think he's up to Manchester United standard.
No, I'd agree with you. Although what I would say, and there's a lot of Fellaini lovers out there, so unless you want a load of abuse on Twitter, as I've had in the past, what I would say about Fellaini is I was impressed with him last week. I was impressed with all 10 players, and the thing he's done in the last couple of games that he hasn't done in the last 18 months is he actually gives a damn about his career at Manchester United, and he is really, he's trying hard, and he's not doing too bad. And I commend him for that, and hopefully we'll get a bit of money for him in January, because I do want him to go, and that's not me being bitter. I said I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say he's suddenly the best player in the world just because he's played 180 minutes of good football. I just think he's not the sort of player Manchester United in the first 11. I mean, already I'm thinking about the game on Saturday, and I think Fellaini will start the game because Crystal Palace are a physical long ball side, and that's going to be at the expense of Herrera, isn't it? And I want to see Herrera back in the team, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think Herrera has started his Manchester United career off very well. I think some of his passing's been pretty decent, and he's also chipped in with a few goals so far. Really been impressed with him. And I really think that he should start ahead of Fellaini in this game. Although obviously he did take that rib injury not too long ago, so I don't know if that's a bit in the back of Louis van Gaal's mind as to why he's brought Fellaini in. But I really do like Herrera. I think he can be a great player for Manchester United.
Yeah, I'd agree, Daniel. I think we've got to sort of try and get the right 11 out on Saturday, but I do think Fellaini will play, and maybe Herrera, like you say, isn't fully fit. Which brings on to the next point I wanted to mention. Carrick or Blind. Carrick came on and played at centre-back. He might have to play there again on Saturday, I suppose, but I think under Moyes, he was just totally destroyed by Moyes, really, who probably had him studying Leon Osman or something ridiculous like that. And I think Carrick is back in the England squad, interestingly enough. I think that'll give him some confidence now. Steven Gerrard hasn't got his free meal ticket in the England team, and I think he'll have a better season under Louis van Gaal, or appreciate that sort of player. On the flip side, Daley Blind's been playing very well. Who would you go for, Daley Blind or Carrick?
I'll probably stick with Daley Blind for now in this game, and just ease Michael Carrick back in. But he may well play at centre half against Crystal Palace. I'm not really sure who's available at the back. So if he has to ship in at the centre of defence, then obviously he won't play. But I would probably just shade Daley Blind for now. Just ease Michael Carrick back, which would be great. I really like Michael Carrick. I think he's been a great servant to Manchester United, I know some people don't appreciate him, but I really do feel he's been vastly underrated over the years.
No, I'd agree. I mean, I've always been a massive fan of Carrick, and I think Carrick, for me, he epitomises football. He's, if you like and understand Carrick, I think you genuinely are a football somebody who watches football and understands the game. And those who just dismiss him obviously haven't got a clue, because what he does is tactically very, very good, but it's not obvious. So I'm a big fan of Carrick. I was thinking of an analogy earlier, actually. I think Daley Blind's a good player as well, and it's almost like a toss-up between a hobnob biscuit or a ginger nut biscuit. But then I thought ginger nut, that's Scholesy, he's retired. So then I was thinking, what other analogy is there? But I'd go with Blind, like you say. But I think Carrick is from 2008 to 2011, he was. Ever since he signed, he was a fantastic signing, and he's such a good player. I certainly wouldn't mind him seeing back in. And there was a good point from earlier, actually, from At Ulster's Best. He said, Carrick to come in and steady the ship, and if we're losing, bring Blind on, which wouldn't be a bad idea. But I think he'll be playing centre-back on the weekend. Talking about Crystal Palace at the weekend, what's your thoughts on there? How do you think it's going to go, Daniel?
Well, I haven't really actually watched Crystal Palace play this season, but from what I've heard and that, they've not been too good this season. So I would presume that Manchester United will probably win this game pretty comfortably, and that's how I'm expecting it to go. Really, I don't really see Crystal Palace posing much of a threat. Really, I saw their result the other week. I think was it Monday, where they lost to Sunderland. And Sunderland have been pretty poor this season. I've watched them a bit, so I don't really see too many problems with Crystal Palace, really. I think it should be pretty easy. Probably maybe about a 3 or 4-1, really, probably, but you never know.
No, you don't. I'm with you. I think it's got to be 3 points. It's interesting that Neil Warnock is playing his mind games again. Trying to play mind games. I think there's one very important factor if you're going to play mind games, and you've got to have a bit of a brain. I think Warnock is essentially just a glorified Tony Pulis. He's a long ball player, but he has been saying this week that we don't expect much from Old Trafford because we don't get many refereeing decisions. Well, I'll tell you what, Neil. Let's lay down the gauntlet. You come to Manchester United and play open, attractive football and try and win penalties, and let's see what happens. I'll guarantee it'll be very different. I guarantee he'll pack the defence in the midfield, he'll play long ball, and Manchester United will probably have 3 or 4 penalty decisions that go against them because of stupid, ignorant little comments from people like Warnock. The reality is Manchester United haven't had a penalty this season. We haven't had a penalty since at home to Norwich. I don't know what decisions he's on about. I think United are actually severely being punished by the FA and everybody else at the moment because Ferguson's gone, and they see it as a free-for-all because United are certainly not getting the refereeing decisions they deserve. I think it will end up probably. I take any win. I think it's a shame really because one, we're on a fine line. Any red card or any bad result on Saturday, and it's panic stations. I said 1 point from Manchester City or Chelsea wouldn't be too bad. Got to win against Palace on Saturday. I'm obviously going to go for the win, and let's hope we get it. What's your thoughts, though, Daniel, on United's season and where we're going to end up? Are you confident we're going to get in the top 4?
Yeah, so far the actual results haven't been great, but I do see some improvements. So I mean the game against West Brom and the Chelsea one, we've fought back twice against West Brom, which never would have happened last season. When we went a goal or 2 behind, we just crumbling. And against Chelsea, it was great to see that we come back fighting. Last season, we would have probably lost that 2 or 3-0. And I really do feel that Louis van Gaal starting to prove his worth at Manchester United, and I still feel we will definitely make the top 4 places. And I'm still hopeful of hopefully finishing 3rd. I don't think the teams like around the teams that are probably vying for 3rd, probably Arsenal, and obviously Liverpool are going to probably come a bit stronger soon, and Southampton are still playing really well at the moment. But I feel that with our squad and Louis van Gaal's philosophy, we can still make 3rd place. But at this moment in time, I would accept 4th place finish.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, I said at the start of the season that fourth place was all that it was about this year, and um, arrogantly, yes, I think it's between Arsenal, Manchester United, and Liverpool for third and fourth, and that's what I've been looking at, and I've been saying for the last few weeks, don't judge anything until Christmas, till everyone's played everybody. I did look at everybody's games until then. I predict Manchester United are probably going to be within 3 or 5 points of Arsenal and Manchester United, and Arsenal and Liverpool. And if we are with the second half of the season, and they've got Europe and everything like that, I think United will kick on, because every game with Manchester United at the moment is important. It's more time for Van Gaal to inflict his tactics onto the team. Next thing I wanted to discuss was something that the media have been trying to stir up, wrongly, and they haven't been able to stir it up, was that Moyes had 17 points at this time of the season last year. Obviously, Louis van Gaal's only got 13. I'm sure I know what you're going to say. I'm sure what everybody said on Twitter won't be a surprise. In fact, at United, 20 opinions said, not a chance would I have Moyes back, negative, boring, directionless football, progress is being made, LVG is definitely the future. What's your thoughts, Daniel?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really for Louis van Gaal.